IShowSpeed's trip to China has been an unexpected worldwide phenomenon, becoming both a viral clip machine, but also a surprising bit of international friendship between China and the US. But is it all real? Is he being secretly paid by the Chinese government? And is IShowSpeed good, actually? We have all the info for you on this episode of Scroll Deep.
这个节目紧跟互联网上的胡言乱语，所以你不必。
And make sure you're following to get all the latest internet nonsense first. It's fair to say that relations between China and the United States have been strained in recent years, mainly because of a guy called Donald Trump? First I'm hearing of him. Must keep to himself. In fact, at the time of recording, the US and China are busy slapping each other with tariffs, but what about the people? How do individual American and Chinese people feel about each other? Well, we've had an interesting chance to find out, as streamer IShowSpeed, Darren Watkins Jr., has been touring through China like a kind of content hurricane, just kind of causing mischief wherever he goes. And this is something he's done before. He's been to Norway, he's been to Argentina, but this China tour is the one that's really blown up, mainly because it just seems to have gone really well. Everyone seems to like him in China. Everyone thinks he's great. If you had to compare him to a Chinese wall, it would be the Great Wall, because it's going great. He hasn't had any huge controversies. I guess because at this point, like, we just have a low-key hum at all times of streamers causing problems, so I don't know if people even register streamers doing stuff anymore, but it does feel like he's mostly been kind of polite. I mean, obviously he's kind of like a Tasmanian devil of a human, just kind of going wild at all times and barking, but in a nice way. But also, to be clear, in case you are an adult and or employed, he's streaming for like 8 hours a day, just continuously, at least, which is mad to me. That's proper like Truman Show, future stuff. He's never not on, and who knows what that does to the human brain, but I'm sure it's good. Now, we're gonna get to the conspiracy angle of this in a little bit, but before that, let's run through some of the biggest viral moments that have happened during the trip. There was a lovely, wholesome moment with a lady on a boat, this Chinese lady who was sat with Speed, and she said that, you know, people make fun of her, people are mean to her, and he unexpectedly drops this like beautiful 1990s Disney speech. Let's roll that clip, actually.
See, look, in this world, honey, you gotta understand that. In this world, people gonna laugh at you, talk about you, be hateful towards you. That's part of life. But as part of a human, as part of us, it's just gonna be people like that. So you just have to stay strong and be you at the end of the day. People gonna hate you all the time. It don't matter if you're the best in the world, the most perfect person in the world. People gonna hate you. You know what I'm saying?
There was also multiple instances of Speed being shocked by advanced Chinese technology. There was a pair of glasses that can apparently translate Chinese in real time, which he was freaking out about. There was also lots of car nonsense. There was an amphibious car from the company BYD, which is this Chinese car company that apparently makes amazing electric cars. So amazing that they're literally banned in the United States. You cannot buy them. And if that's not the free market, I don't know what it is. Here in the US, there's two things we love: capitalism, where people are allowed to do business, and the free market. That's why we've decided this Chinese car is too good and might compete with us, therefore it's banned. He also saw a Huawei phone, and then in evil technology news, he also saw a dancing robot that I just want to knock over so bad. You will never make me like a robot. Every robot I see is evil to me in some way. There was even a little How to Train Your Dragon robot that went viral this week, which they made look like toothless, there we go. But it's very clearly one of those Boston Dynamics robots that they're putting guns on in other parts of the world. And like, I will always, it's on site with it, I will always hate those robots. Any chance to kick one of those robots, I don't care if it's Hiccup the Dragon, I will be kicking it. The dancing robot, it dances okay. It's still a bit out of time. You know what else dances? Humans. There we go, saved you all the time in your lab, Professor. He didn't have to build the evil robot. Frickin' clankers coming over here, stealing our dance jobs. He also went to Chongqing, which is like a crazy kind of cyberpunk city where it's on like crazy multiple levels. So like you think you're on the ground floor and then you get to the edge of the ground and you're actually like 30 floors up, and it's amazing. It was a level in the Hitman games, and then people loved the level so much they made it into a real place. And there was also a Chinese sports car that can dance, which gotta be the most useless thing of all time.
He's bouncing his ass!
Oh no, oh shoot, I've got to dance with my car. Sorry kids, I'd love to come to your baseball recital, but I've got to go dance with my car. Speed also met Chinese Trump.
It's my absolute pleasure to have you come to Chongqing.
I have made it this far into the video without going China, which is impressive. Now it's fair to say that the Chinese fans of Speed, they do not mess around. They have been frantic, they've been running up to him. There's been some interesting cultural differences. A fan handed Speed a bouquet of cotton, which he was sort of baffled by. He was like, is this insanely racist? But it turns out that is actually just a cultural thing in Asia, and that was just simply a nice thing to do. And in the moment, he was just like, I believe his words were,
W give chat!
so he took it as a kind gift. And he even recreated the popular documentary, The Karate Kid. But with all the fun and games and with all the international brotherhood being demonstrated, people have naturally asked, is this all Chinese socialist propaganda? Is he being paid by China to say that China is good? Certainly there are some elements that seem to show that China is embracing Speed. There were billboards showing him in China. There's been a lot of very favorable press coverage in the Chinese press about him. His face was shown on the Chongqing Ferris wheel. Is this a crazy conspiracy theory, or are they just pleased he's there and pleased that he's showing China in a positive light? It's probably that, right? If a very famous person from another country came to your country and like had a great time, you'd probably want to capitalize on it. He's not even like going out of his way to be like, China's great. He's just not being insanely racist to Chinese people, which makes a marked change from most foreign policy these days. And people have been noting this. There was a tweet that said, quote, billions worth of CIA-funded anti-China propaganda debunked. Someone else said, China has successfully converted IShowSpeed into Comrade IShowSpeed. There was also some rumblings because China has apparently granted him a 10-year visa.
Yo, chat, I got a 10-year visa.
Which is not easy to get, but again, easy to get if you're an incredibly famous person who is showing China in a good light. Now look, I don't want to be cynical about this. I think this is pretty nice. Everyone seems to like him there. I'll admit that the bar for people going abroad and interacting with people from other countries is pretty low. We all remember Logan Paul in Japan. But you know, one person tweeted, quote, my 50-year-old mom is now an IShowSpeed fan and won't stop showing me clips of him in China. I don't think he realizes how much he's won the hearts of Chinese aunties because he has, quote, silly youthful whimsy. My goal in life is to have someone describe me as being filled with whimsy, especially if it's a lovable Chinese auntie. But his plans are now to go to Japan, and I wonder how that will go. Having been to Japan, wonderful place, probably one of the best places I've ever visited. But you know, Japan is all about etiquette, politeness. If I may be so bold as to make a broad statement, I feel like the thing they don't like in Japan is people screaming in public. Or causing general chaos. So I wonder how he will go down in Japan. Maybe he'll have to be a bit more low-key, but maybe it'll be great. Who knows? Also, who cares? Well, I guess I care. I don't want Japanese people to be sad. Because also I think going into this, you know, people's hopes weren't exactly super high. He has a pretty troublesome past. He's a guy who has attracted a lot of controversy, done some bad stuff in the past. He seems to be on a kind of pleasant redemption arc. Kind of crazy to be on a redemption arc when you're like 20, but he seems to be kind of, well, I guess you could say, growing up into an adult in a sort of nice way. He's lowercase m and maturing a little bit. So it's a positive change, I think, from where Speed has been previously. And if that's going to be the trajectory from now on, that's pretty nice. And I do think, off the back of this, there's a non-zero chance he could get into North Korea. And I would love IShowSpeed in Pyongyang, North Korea. Could be insane. Him walking through the streets, interacting with no one. But what do you make of all this? Have you enjoyed watching Speed? Have you been watching? Do you not enjoy the coverage? Are you in China? Are you Chinese? Do you have any perspective from that angle? That'd be really fascinating to know. Let me know in the comments down below. And we get to the secret question. The people who've made it all the way to the end, the people with the best attention spans. And we'll keep it related to the history of China by asking, in terms of value and quality, what is the best show to invest in terms of buying a Blu-ray box set? Because like Mad Men, for example, the quality is staying up pretty much all the way through. Whereas with Heroes, an amazing season 1, do you really need season 4 on Blu-ray? Let me know in the comments down below. That's tennis!